Welcome back to my channel. Um, at the beginning at the outset, see if this works better. Please subscribe, give me a like, and leave me comments on anything you'd like. I read through the comments. Right now, I don't have a huge following, so I'm able to read through them. This video is going to be, I don't know what the thumbnail is going to say yet, but I'm going to talk a little bit about my faith and why I am where I am. My previous four videos, were on atheism. And I was challenged when I believe I made a video on the existence of God, and I got a bunch of atheists who um, responded, and some of them were, so it runs the whole gamut. Some of them were very good, very intelligent, very thought-provoking, um, maybe give you something to think about. And then, of course, there were others that just insulted me and called me names and so on. And but that's to be found. I don't know if they appreciate that. That's to be found in any group, in any um, place where there's a variety of opinions and people adhere to them. They really like them. It reminds me of I mentioned this in one of my previous videos. I think it was called "The Crowd" by Gustave Le Bon, and I think it was 1800s. And he talks about how we kind of like gravitate towards we could belong to a group, a crowd, and we become loyal, and we will believe what that group tells us um, with very little questioning. We like being part of that group, the camaraderie, the community, and sometimes we just like being that part. But anyway, um, on to the point of this video. The previous video which was regarding atheists. You know, some of them brought up some good challenges. Is one of them that I read most of his uh, his comment. Theo, and I think Theo Skeptic or Theo Skept something. And you know, I agreed with just about everything that he had down there, and he came to why he came to his conclusions. And I chose the same path, and I came to a different conclusion. Um, in the end, I don't know if he would say this, but Theo Skep, if you're listening to this one, you can ask me down in the comments. Um, in the end, I have an argument that goes to back up something that I will believe in. But I mean, how strong is that belief? I mean, I believe it as far as the evidence so far takes me. If the evidence takes me somewhere else, then I would stop believing that. But the Dalai Lama was asked once about reincarnation. He asked him if you found it was proven that it wasn't true, what would you do? He says, well, then we would stop teaching it, right? Like, so if it takes me somewhere else, then I'll believe something else if something else provides a better argument. And I mentioned in one of my previous videos kind of like where I am, and um, Theo brought up not being able to see um, God, not being able to see supernatural, right? And no, neither have I. I haven't seen it either. Um, but I would argue this, and is we know the physical world that exists, and we know that it's existed for 13.8, 13.9 billion years. But what was there before that? And that existence, whatever it is, there was no time, because time came into existence with matter and with energy. Um, there was no time, light, and with light, there was no time. Um, there was no matter, but something existed before that. And what could that be? And would that give any backing to um, the supernatural in this world? I don't know. I don't know. And like I mentioned, I haven't ever seen ghosts, but I have spoken to people that I trust who told me very convincingly that they had experience that they couldn't explain, and I believe them. I can't just not believe in everyone. I mean, some people I find very credible, and if they told me something, then I would believe them. I have not, and so I can believe it as far as I trust them, and my faith in them. Right? Sometimes some of these people that were arguing with me or leaving comments talked about faith, and this is an interesting thing about words because words mean different things, and sometimes the definitions are corrupted, and something that I might be saying, and because of my background, because of culture, because of my ignorance, I'm not able to convey what I'm thinking to someone else, or the reverse, because of their challenges, and they may not be able to. So I can be, and this happens a lot. At my office, I talked to one of the people in my office, and we think we agree on something, but we didn't. Our communication was flawed. There was something that, maybe a cultural difference and so on. Anyway, this video, I want to talk a bit about kind of like where I am on my faith. And in the last video that I wrote, that I made, I talked about what a challenge Christianity is. And um, at the end, you know, the way that I live my life, um, I can think about every single thing that happens, and here's what I have to acknowledge. There are people that have gone before me who have met the same challenges, and they were able to address them in a very good way. And so rather than reinventing the wheel, I look back at people who've already gone through what I'm going through and see what they have to say. And a lot of those people happen to be religious people. Some of the great authors, some of the great writers, Augustine Aquinas, Thomas à Kempis, C.S. Lewis. And this is kind of an important part. There are philosophers that have written a lot of things. For example, Nietzsche, or oh God, what's his name? He's awful. Schopenhauer, is that him? Schopenhauer, Dewey. It's another one that and what they say doesn't ring true to me, and sometimes, and I have to admit or acknowledge that they put a lot of thought into what they did. But sometimes you put a lot of thought into something, and you're still wrong. But some of the other ones that um, what they say resonates with me. It makes sense to me, and there's a way of living. And as I mentioned in one of my previous videos, I'm a devout practicing Catholic who has and I have a great challenge, right? Faith. um, I don't know. I mean, I remember once that Dennis Prager, who I used to listen to on the radio, and he mentioned that he was invited to speak at an atheists gathering, United Atheists, I think, and he made he asked a question to the audience: How many of you have ever questioned your atheism? And everyone said never. I mean, nobody raised their hand. And he says, well, you'd be surprised because a lot of religious people question their faith all the time, which I think is very healthy. Which I guess he was trying to kind of like put something on the atheists that you guys should be questioning your beliefs more, right? And I know that atheists don't like talking about their belief as having some sort of having some relationship to faith. They believe that they've analyzed everything and they've come to it's almost like the scientific method, right? I don't believe that. I think that they're just as faith challenged as everyone else. Um, but along the way, I kind of like see these. I have read these authors, and like I said, it resonates with me about how to live my life. So how do I live my life? And The Jordan Peterson once was asked about God, and he gave kind of like this squirrely answer that he said, and he made this point, and I understand what he was saying. He said, if saying you believe in God has a lot of responsibility, or something along those lines, that if you believe in God, if you really believe in God, then your life, your actions would reflect that. And he apparently wanted to say that he wasn't that good a person, and so it's hard for him to say that he believed in God. But it's in the end, the question is, is it true? And what if I can't answer it? And that's a very important point. Okay, I can make an argument and come up to a certain conclusion, but that's only the conclusion that I'm coming to now. If I have other evidence, I might change what I'm that conclusion might be different. And so when I live my life, I want structure, I want stability, I want peace. And that's something that everyone acknowledges. Everyone knows what stability is, everyone knows what peace is. Um, and peace is an important one. My father once, and I were reading a poem, Amado Nervo in Paz. The last line is, "My life, you owe me nothing. My life, we're at peace." And it's a beautiful poem. There's one line where he says, "In the sunset of my years, I bless you, my life, because you never gave me failed hope or unjust work or undeserved humility." And I know, or I think I know generally how to live a good life. And even that, knowing what a good life is a challenge. But I've decided to trust people that went before me, and what they've written down makes a lot of sense to me, and it has brought my life in incredible peace. I seem to be very fortunate. I have people in my life that struggle with their lives a great deal, and people go to therapy. Some people are on medication, and I've had a great deal of peace in my life. And as I've mentioned in one of my previous videos, that one of my commenters, BA Skeptic, I think it is, offered his condolences. I've even buried a child. Um, but I've had great peace in my life. And I wonder, why is that? Why have I enjoyed this peace? And my father's have been the same way. And he's always attributed it to his faith. Um, Now, it could be a psychological thing, right? Because he's such a positive person, because then his life is without turmoil. Um, and I wish my life was without turmoil. It isn't, and I'm not sure that my dad's was free of it at all. I've been sure that he had it, but he carried it very well. But everyone wants peace in their life, everyone, and this has brought me great peace. And some of you people watching, especially some of the atheists that come over, will say, "Well, I'm living a lie, that I'm just placating myself and living this lie to make myself feel better." I remember that I mentioned in one of my previous videos that my father and I read Paula, or he read it. He mentioned it to me, Paula by Isabel Allende. She's at a funeral. I'm not sure if it was her daughter or not. Paula is her daughter who passed away, and she's sitting in the back of a church, paying her condolences to somebody for whom the service is being held. And she says that she sees all these morons in front of her that believe in this nonsense, and she has pity on them. And as she's sitting there in the back, she writes that this pity turned to envy because they had hope and she didn't. And when I, tell myself, does God exist? The evidence kind of points me in that direction, but I don't know. And neither do you atheists. You don't know either. Some of you, you know, make the claim that you do, which some of the other atheists would challenge you on, because it's not whether God exists, it's like a belief, right? Um, but I don't know. And I don't know if Christ is the Son of God and he died for our sins and he was resurrected and he saved us. I don't know. But I've decided that until I find other answers that prove otherwise, I'm going to follow this and I'm going to live it. And it's brought me great peace. And anyway, this video didn't go kind of like where I thought it would be going, but I'll leave it at that. Thank you for watching, and please like and leave a comment and give me a thumbs up. I'll see you in the next video.